This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News,
follow one MSU tennis player's journey to Moorhead from her home court across the ocean.
See how local middle school girls are expanding their minds in the world of science.
NDSU students are showing how playing in the Sandbox isn't just for kids.
But first, if April showers bring May flowers, what does April snow bring? Good morning and welcome to Campus News. I'm Hannah Norton.
And I'm Benjamin Reiki.
While most of the country is experiencing April showers, Fargo-Moorhead residents are keeping their winter jackets zipped up for some late seasonal April snow. Reporter Anthony Fridgen went to go see how students are handling this long winter weather.
Winter weather in the middle of spring is leaving students like Corey Hennebree with some strong emotions towards the cold.
I don't want it to be cold anymore. It takes a really long time to walk in the cold and you cry.
And those tears can cause some problems.
Tears freeze my face and I fall a lot, so in front of people. They laugh at me and don't help me out, so.
But not all students think the snowfall is bad at all.
Well, the ice rink that the school was this morning wasn't too great, but I like the snow, so I guess it keeps around.
To the point where they would be fine with a longer winter.
I think it was my opinion all the time. No mosquitoes, no heat flashes.
This frigid April season has been one for the record books, as in the first week of April has been the coldest average temperature in recorded history for the Fargo-Moorhead area. However, according to NDSU climatologist Abdur Askur says, in regards to snowfall, it's actually been an average season.
In the snowfall-wise, Fargo-Moorhead area had so far received 49.7 inches of snow total. That is 1.5 inches above normal to yesterday. However, our normal is 50.1 in Fargo-Moorhead area, which is slightly below, but it doesn't mean that we are not going to have additional snowfall to make it near normal.
For one professor at NDSU, this snow is an opportunity to enjoy the weather and his love for photography.
I'm a photographer at heart. I just love being out in the weather and working with it. You have a very different shape to the light in winter than you do in the summer, partly because of the direction it's coming from, partly because you get all the reflection off the snow. I love winter.
Whether students and professors like the cold weather or not,
I'm ready for it to be warm.
This wintry season is here to stay. Just a little longer. With photographer Jessica Kobe, Anthony Fridgen, Campus News.
Now, despite the snow, Dr. Obque says this winter was actually ranked as one of the warmer ones overall. A new issue is on the rise for many colleges in the country, and it's giving students a harder time affording one crucial need. A new study shows hunger has become a major problem on college campuses. Researchers found 36% of students at 66 surveyed colleges and universities aren't getting enough to eat. Some students are even having to skip meals because they can't afford them. The University of California found 40% of its students are going hungry. Researchers blame increasing tuition costs, lacking aid packages, and growing enrollment among low-income students. Colleges all over are trying to solve this problem by altering their dining plans or even giving out free dining passes to those in need.
An organization with a global humanitarian outreach is getting area students involved. Unseen is a nonprofit focused on battling human trafficking. It has 28 rescue groups located in 18 countries around the world and helped 120,000 people last year. To raise money, the group hosts fundraising events like this one at Moxie Java in Moorhead. Unseen's development officer Paul Finstead says 10 million children are affected by human trafficking each year.
And to kind of put that in perspective, if you look at North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Montana, there's 8 million people. There's more kids trafficked in this world than there are people living in our four-state area, and that's a pretty difficult thing to kind of get your arms around.
On the campus of MSU Moorhead, a group of leadership students have partnered with Unseen this semester to help the organization fundraise. Reporter Aaron Simmons spoke with one student about how they are helping the cause.
With two of her classmates at MSU Moorhead, Rachel LaForce is making a difference, supporting the fight against human trafficking.
So we thought that partnering with Unseen would be a really worthwhile project, actually be able to give something back to something that was important to us.
As a project for their senior leadership seminar, the students were tasked with partnering with an organization to host an event. So they called Unseen.
And so we got in contact with them, as well as Moxie Java, because we were thinking that doing some kind of a coffee house type event would be really fun, something just really casual.
The two-day fundraising event brought in about 50 people. To some, that might not seem significant, but to LaForce, they are making a difference.
A lot of them had said that they hadn't even heard of Unseen or didn't know anything about human trafficking, so we at least, affected 50 people in the community and helped them learn a little bit about the message.
At Unseen, half the staff graduated from MSU Moorhead, so forging the partnership with the leadership class had a familiar feel.
And we work with a number of different groups at MSUM, volunteers that have come over to provide volunteer support for us, or different classes that we've either gone to or been a part of to help support our cause.
To LaForce, providing global support in her own neighborhood is the best reward.
And it really felt good to be able to do something just here at the local level, but it is affecting that many people around the world.
With photographer Erica Ragus, Aaron Simmons, Campus News.
In the next 3 years, Unseen has hopes to increase the number of rescue people to 500,000.
Students at Howard University are getting fired up, but not with school spirit. They're furious the college covered up the theft of nearly $1 million in student aid for over a year. A student whistleblower says 6 student employees pocketed financial aid money for 9 years. One student even made over $100,000 a year for 5 years straight. The whistleblower says the employees wrote up fake scholarships and grants, waived their tuition, and kept the remaining money. They also say University President Wayne Frederick learned about the embezzlement back in 2016, but the employees weren't fired until almost a year later. Howard University says it will treat the theft as a crime, but DC police say they haven't been contacted to investigate yet. Now, one student, after becoming the face of Howard University's financial scandal, is suing the college for $10 million. Tyrone Hankerson Jr. is one of several students whose names were illegally leaked online, accusing him of embezzling over $400,000 in student aid. While Hankerson says he wasn't fired by Howard, he ended up becoming a viral target for showing off his expensive lifestyle online. In a detailed letter, Hankerson announced that he is suing the university for not doing more to protect his financial information. He says it's caused him emotional stress and has left him the victim of harassment from other students and strangers. In the letter, Hankerson says he truly loves the university and has nothing to do with the scandal. More and more college students are getting ripped off just by clicking what they think is a harmless email message.
Reporter Derek Barkowitz takes us deep into cyberspace to find out more.
You look in your inbox, an email says it's a job offer and you can make money. You think this is too good to be true. For MSM senior Sonny Nafor, it was.
My first one was I remember a guy sending me an email saying I won $1 million. And I was like, pretty much I'm in college and how am I going to win $1 million?
Dan Heckerman, Chief Information Officer at MSUM, says the mail service blocks much of the spam that comes in on a daily basis.
We block anywhere between 60 to 75% of incoming spam in the first place, just automatically. And so the rest of the mail that comes in has to be monitored.
Heckerman says to keep yourself safe online, never give out your information to someone who you don't think is legitimate, because phishing scams are hard to trace.
Don't provide your password. Now, of course, that is sort of a give and take in the sense that every 180 days, the system is asking you to reset your Star ID password.
In today's online world, you can never be too cautious. Always know what you are giving away. With photographer Erica Ragus, Derek Barkowitz, Campus News.
MSUM's Internet Guardian helps inform students when they visit a dangerous site by displaying a banner informing the user of the blocked site. MSUM Writing Support Center is encouraging students to come in and get help on any class subjects they are having troubles with. For some, writing and many other subjects can be difficult. With many words sounding the same and meaning the opposite, it can get a bit confusing. Students who are interested in getting help can stop by Lohman Hall and sign up for an appointment with one of the tutors to get help with passing a class that they might be struggling with.
Students have the opportunity to work with another student.
The Writing Support Center accepts walk-in appointments, but with so many students needing help, spots fill up quickly.
Touching up on interview skills and knowing proper dinner etiquette can go a long way for students trying to impress future employers. That's why MSUM hosted its annual Etiquette Dinner. Students were treated to a lecture by Christine Kapweski, who taught students the do's and don'ts in a professional dining room setting, as well as how to mingle with potential employers. Students were also treated to a 5-course meal where they learned the proper way to handle their food. Kapweski believes the event allows students to learn essential skills necessary to make it in the business world.
And each generation is a little different. My generation, we didn't do interviews over dinner. So when they come and they say, well, we had an interview with a prospective employer, it was over dinner and this, that, or the other thing happened, and they bring those experiences to me, I really like that part.
Kapweski says she's happy with the turnout for the event and is hoping for a larger crowd at the next dinner.
Finding a job out of college can be a tricky task for students to do alone. But as reporter Ashley Rzachek found out, Concordia College is lending a helping hand.
I'm not aware, but
31 school districts and organizations gathered at Concordia's Knutson Center for the Tri-College Education Fair.
I'm not aware of this.
For some education majors, the fair was a first.
It's very diverse. There's a ton of different districts represented, and they all are really interested in what you have to say, and they're all really friendly, and it's really nice.
School districts from around the country attended, including representatives from Arizona, Texas, and Alaska. With tables on the lower floor and interview spaces on the second level, some employers were authorized to hire on the spot. The event allowed employers to seek out potential candidates with the right qualifications.
Really looking for students that can plan a session and plan the content, and then also evaluate it as they go and make sure it's a really quality program for our youth.
The Tri-College Education Fair is held annually and rotates between MSUM, NDSU, and Concordia.
So if anybody is looking for any kind of experience just to really polish their leadership skills and their initiative skills, whether they're education students or not, these are awesome opportunities, and I would highly recommend anybody that's interested to contact me because I would love to tell them more.
With photographer Paulina Glowacki, Ashley Rzachek, Campus News.
Around 60 college students from local colleges were expected to make an appearance. A Michigan State University student is making a buzz following her winged friends across the ocean. Alison Young will spend 9 months in India as a Fulbright scholar studying Indian honeybees. The doctoral student will focus on how the behaviors of 4 different species of honeybee relate to bee mortality and pollination. Young also received a National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship in 2017.
We're just weeks away from spring college graduation in Fargo-Moorhead. But recently, NDSU students got a chance to practice for their future careers. Reporter Melissa Gonzalez drops by the NDSU Research Symposium to learn more.
From crops to butterflies, hypertension to cancer, these NDSU students have spent months researching topics that affect all of us.
A lot of participants, like more than 30 participants, showing their research in the form of poster presentations, and more than 20 presentations going on for oral, and they're all presenting their research here to the students.
You learn who you are, what your skill sets are, how big differences you can make by just taking small steps.
Graduate Student Council has provided this opportunity for their students to practice their public speaking skills. Let's go see what they can present.
I'm looking at the interaction between gold nanoparticle and enzyme T4-lysozyme. So it's really cool thing because we see different kinds of work being done here, and it's good to get different suggestions from the judges and to look at other people's work and be inspired too.
I mean, we have a chance to share our results with many students, with the judges and other graduate students. And you can see a lot of people just coming for our studies. It's excited.
With this event, students can practice learning how to interact with faculty and community members, and how to respond to their questions.
Well, it feels good and a little bit nervous too, because you encounter so many different people and you're looking at different perspectives. And some of the questions I encountered today, I had not thought of it before. So it was really good experience.
Research students took advantage of this opportunity for practice today. Tomorrow, they will be one step closer to the professional world. With photographer Jacob Ambrose, Melissa Gonzalez, Campus News.
By the end of the month, the Graduate Student Council will hold elections and begin organizing for next year's symposium. A University of Southern California graduate student is helping bridge the gap between American and African graduate students by building a low-cost device to use around the world. Betsy Mellenbrink is part of a team that built a potentiostat used in electrochemistry experiments. The device is bright green, small enough to fit in your hand, and being used at African universities in Malawi, Tanzania, and Kenya. Mellenbrink's goal is to help African students who face a shortage of equipment needed for basic lab experiments.
As of 2017, women make up less than 25% of all science and technology jobs.
Reporter Leah Backstrom shows us how NDSU is working to encourage more young women to explore these fields.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go!
Despite what you hear, this is not a music program. This is NDSU's Expand Your Horizons conference.
This class, at the beginning of it, it was like super inspiring because they were talking about like how women can do like all these things.
It will be difficult.
For decades, young women were discouraged from going into science and tech fields. Now, that landscape is changing.
Still now.
Yeah? Expand Your Horizons gives gifted girls like Tashana and other 7th through 9th graders the chance to explore careers in science and mathematics with hands-on workshops.
It was so fun for me because I got to like look at the colleges a little bit.
A big reason hundreds of girls gather from across Minnesota and North Dakota is thanks to Karen Murray. She's been organizing this event for 26 years.
I was one that was not encouraged to take math and science, and I think if I would have gone to a workshop like this, I think I might have changed my whole approach.
Though she says the odds are against her, Tashana has big plans for her future.
Even though I'm like super afraid of heights, I want to be an astronaut and then go up into space and like study rocks and stuff.
We need more female.
It's dreams like Tashana's that Expand Your Horizons hopes to continue to fuel in many other young women.
So then trace it that way. So what do you think will be? So then let's take it one
With
step
photographer Zach Hoffner, Leah Backstrom, Campus News.
This year, over 400 young women attended Expand Your Horizons, and the program hopes to see that number grow in the years to come. And now we turn it over to Tyler Ziegler for a look at this week's sports. Tyler, what's going on with the Dragon Swimmers?
We got some big changes coming to the entire program. For MSU Moorhead Swimming, history will not be repeating itself. Head coach Todd Peters, the founder of MSUM Swimming, will not be back for another season. MSUM Athletic Director Doug Peters announced that the program will not be renewing Todd's contract. Peters started the MSUM Swimming program in 1997 and has been the head coach ever since. He's coached at least one swimmer to the NCAA National Championships each of his last 14 seasons. The reason for Peters' non-renewal has yet to be released. Two Concordia wrestlers work hard on the mat, in the classroom, and for their business. As Hannah Norton shows us, these two cobbers do more than just pin their opponents.
Wrestling is a way of life for two Cobber athletes. Both have been in the wrestling scene since they were 6 and 12 years old. Being friends and teammates, these two have more than just athletic ability on the mat.
So Joe and I started what he named it Woodman Enterprises.
Nothing more than a moment of curiosity was the starting point to a growing wood carving business.
And so I thought it would be an excellent opportunity to learn how computer programming and cutting and manufacturing is done.
CNC, known as Computer Numerical Control, is a manufacturing process where you first design what you want on a computer program, and through that program, the machine copies the design and goes to work.
And so we played around with that for a while, just making stuff, making whatever we wanted. Like, I bet we can make some money back off this.
The pieces of work usually hold something special to their clients, which makes their job more worthwhile.
I love getting to know the stories behind why people want what they want. It's cool to do some meaningful sort of stuff.
Both Deegan and Hines bring different strengths to the creativity that match up perfectly.
So I have more of a woodworking background. So then Travis, on the other hand, has been really good with the program and running his machine and designing all that.
This form of creativity is a special trait that both Deegan and Hines take pride in.
The woodworking projects we're building are essentially art. So yeah, I guess I am an artist.
A simple hobby is now building into more people wanting their own special piece of woodwork.
I'll get people just messaging me and texting me, hey, I heard you're doing this wood thing. Got this idea. Do you think we can do it? Yeah, it's great. I love to work with people and do stuff like that.
Deegan and Hines are known for being competitors on the mat, but now are being known for a new title.
Some of the guys that I've known through athletics are like, oh, so you're the woodman now. And some are like, where did you get started with this?
A finished product means big smiles for Deegan and Hines, and for the ones who get to keep a piece of their work. With photographer Brandon Larson, Hannah Norton, Campus News Sports.
The CNC machine was $1,400, but Deegan and Hines say it's worth every penny. The Bison Ballers landed a big recruit from just around the bend. The NDSU men's basketball team will be welcoming 6'8" guard Noah Christensen to the roster next season. The Breckenridge, Minnesota native verbally committed to the Bison. He says to hope to make an immediate impact on the court. Christensen led the Cowboys to a 25-5 record and an appearance in the state tournament. Christensen still needs to sign an actual letter of intent to make the move official. Fresh off a third-place finish in the NSIC Indoor National Championships, MSUM long jumper Brian Huber is an All-American once again. Huber advanced to the finals with a jump of 24 feet 9 3/4 inches, which at that point in the season was his best. His final jump was 25 feet 2 3/4 inches and was initially ruled a foul. However, MSUM assistant coach Trevor Berry appealed and asked for a video review. The foul was overturned and the jump was ruled good, giving Huber a school record and a third-place finish. Heading into his final outdoor season, Brian is looking forward to making the most out of his final jumps.
I've been feeling much better this year than the last few years, and going into outdoor, I think, I don't know, I'm expecting some big things, and I know my coaches are expecting some big things out of me, so we'll see how that goes.
Brian leaves for Torrance, California on Wednesday, headed for the Mount Sac Relays April 19th to the 21st. Tennis season is in full swing for MSUM, and the Dragons are shining. I took a trip to a recent match to see one of the MSUM players compete in her new home away from home. For MSUM tennis, success has been the story.
Yeah, he couldn't really be starting any better.
Move was good, volley was bad.
For freshman Svenna Albert, success is just being in the United States.
She wanted to come to the United States originally, so I think she's just eager to be around Americans.
For the average student, college is only 94 miles from home. For Svenna, it's a lot further than that.
I'm from the Netherlands, Europe, and then in the middle part of the Netherlands called Amersfoort. I really wanted to play college tennis.
But tennis is a little bit different here.
Like, no one plays on hard court in the Netherlands, so that was something I had to get used to. I play on fake grass, so it's like artificial.
Svenna didn't just come to America for tennis.
Be around like the culture, trying new foods, everything.
And not just the food and culture.
And she's a big fan of board games and stuff, so that's what she brings to the team.
To Svenna, there's only one thing she doesn't enjoy on this side of the world: the weather.
It's so much colder. It's sometimes I just walk outside and I'm like, what is this?
Coach Summers understands what Svenna means.
Great point.
He's also from across the pond.
I grew up in England, played tennis there, and then funnily enough I met a girl who was on an exchange program from MSUM, and that's what brought me over here.
Being fellow world travelers brings the two closer.
The coach is really great.
She's just going to keep getting better and better, and I see her winning a lot of matches.
This dynamic duo hopes their success on the court continues with the championship. With photographer Branson Reeser, Tyler Ziegler, Campus News Sports. The women's tennis team is currently in third place in the NSIC and will be competing in the conference tournament on April 20th. Yeah, she picked a really bad winter for it to be her first one.
I'm just hoping the weather gets warmer anytime soon.
I think it's supposed to.
Thanks, Tyler. NDSU has a new teaching tool, and it's bringing the beach to the classroom.
Reporter Pony White takes us to the augmented reality sandbox that's changing the way students learn.
With a few simple clicks, you can recreate the landscape dinosaurs roamed on, flood the earth, or cause a volcanic eruption. NDSU's augmented reality sandbox has been a hit with students and professors since being established at the university.
The collaboration came from Dr. Stephanie Day in geosciences. She was interested in trying to figure out how to make the AR Sandbox a successful grant application. And I was also working on my own grant proposal, and I told her, this is fantastic. This is a great opportunity for our two departments to collaborate.
We've been having so many students down here playing with it every day.
Geology senior Kaylee Almy says the Sandbox is very beneficial for students.
We use them to teach students about topographic maps and geologic maps. It helps bring a 3D aspect, a visual aspect, to just a plain 2D map.
The feedback from students has been positive.
I love it. It's just like, you go from high school maybe seeing like 1 or 2 topographic maps and that's it. And then you come here and you can actually see it. You can actually interact with it. It's just amazing.
It doesn't matter whether it's someone who's 4 or someone who's 84. You see the same eyes light up when they see what they can do with the AR Sandbox.
NDSU extends their welcome to all students in the area to stop by and play in the sand. With photographer Trevor Tice, Pony White, Campus News.
There are plans in the works at NDSU to have a traveling sandbox for students and professors from other colleges to test out the technology. And that's it for this edition of Campus News.
We leave you with another look at the Expand Your Horizons conference.
Thanks for joining us and have a great week.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the School of Communication and Journalism at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.